Legendary record executive and music mogul Clive Davis has died at the age of 94. Davis was an industry rarity, combining a deep passion for music and developing artists with an equally impressive business acumen for landing hits on the charts, which he did across the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, and deep into this century. Davis led 3 separate labels, starting at Columbia, working at Sony, and founding Arista Records and J Records. He guided more than 200 #1 singles on the Billboard charts. To name a couple is to reminisce over greatness. Blinded by the Light, If You Don't Know Me By Now, Falling, Saving All My Love for You. That kind of track record and the dint of Davis's enthusiasm for being at the center of all of the action led to all kinds of tributes today. Longtime music manager Jon Landau declaring that Davis was a label head in the 60s. He was on top then. All these years later, he's still on top. I do not think you'll see that happen again. The Clive Davis annual Grammy party was the most significant gathering in the field of music. There were live performances, and insiders often said it rivaled the Grammys and was, of course, a tougher ticket. Events like that also showed the impact that spanned music, Hollywood, culture, to politics. Nancy Pelosi, always at that event. Former President Obama was touting Davis's ability to see and hear what others don't in remarks that he recorded about Davis's impact. This was at the star-studded annual Grammy party just this January.
Most folks probably don't realize how much of the music they love, the soundtrack of their lives, was shaped by one man. But we know. So, Clive, thank you for trusting the music, for reminding us that when you open doors and keep them open, the world sounds a little bit better.
A salute from one leader to another. Davis also joined us on this program discussing how music can help humanize all of us, can heal wounds, transcend differences, borders, and even political repression.
Music is a great messenger. When you look back at history, music had played such an important role. I mean, how did we penetrate the Iron Curtain? It was no accident. The Beatles were known in Eastern Europe. The Rolling Stones were known. Somehow it was music that penetrated that Iron Curtain.
Davis shared that optimism and his experiences in interviews that we did here at his NYU Institute and other forums. I got to know him as an energetic, passionate force who was as eager to reminisce about the old days as he was to ask which new artists were hot right now. Who's hot right now? Or who was coming to the next party? Or why hip-hop still resonates today? Those were things he would discuss with all the people that he would bring together in so many different forums. We can all learn from someone who has such an ear for listening, which he applied when he pushed what was then a staid Columbia Records to embrace the counterculture instead of warring with it, signing then revolutionary voices like Janis Joplin and Blood, Sweat, and Tears. He'd go on to shepherd Neil Diamond, Billy Joel, Santana, Chicago, Aerosmith. And back before the days of the internet and streaming, Davis was basically an agent of change for artists who might not have otherwise been literally heard at that scale, distributing new, challenging, and iconoclastic voices as major label artists with radio play and hits so that the counterculture might reshape our culture and save us, to some degree, from what was ailing us then. He had a deep admiration for the acts that he discovered and developed.
Whom I really think is going to be an extremely important
on this show.
Willie, yes, he's a marvelous talent.
Bruce Springsteen, I consider the poet laureates of music over the years. I saw Janis pulsating, vibrating, compelling, an incredible white soul sister, probably the greatest of all time.
Whitney Houston is the best singer in the world.
The enthusiasm came right along with the hits. In later decades, Davis developed a kind of specialty for refining and relaunching some acts like Aretha Franklin, modernizing the Grateful Dead. It was fitting that that anti-pop jam band actually only landed its first Billboard hit with Davis for Touch of Grey. The band even shouting him out in this lyric, "We used to play for Acid, now we play for Clive." You can see them all together with some records there. Davis also leading the careers of Whitney Houston, Barry Manilow, Alicia Keys, who you see there. Today's obituaries honor Davis in terms that are basically incomparable, and unlike anything we would think of with the leaders of what has become a very balkanized streaming music industry today. We see him hailed as a hit-making titan, a star maker, a champion of artists, Variety even noting Davis was so well known in the industry he was usually referred to respectfully by his first name alone. Davis lived a full life to 94 with 4 children, 8 grandchildren, and 2 great-grandchildren. Both his parents died within a year while he was still in college. A mortal loss that he has said sharpened his awareness that even the most cherished things in our lives can be lost at any time. That kind of appreciation and spirit for the now of life is common to artists and to many who appreciate art and music as a way to try to reckon with the world around us, its joy and wonder, which burns right alongside its disappointments and sometimes profound sadness. Davis's love for music ran right along with his very evident zest for life, for the next big moment, or another concert, or a party to rival the last one. It was optimistic, relentless, infectious. It was steeped in the artistic belief that loving something is reason enough to go for it. Whether you're the creator, which is awesome, that rare thing we call talent, or you're a colleague just involved in the teamwork of pushing it out there, or whether you are that other essential ingredient in modern music that we share, whether you're just a fan. Now, what are the artists saying? Tributes have been rolling in all day today. Springsteen releasing a salute to the great man that recounts that, quote, "How at 22 years old, he changed my life when he signed me, treating me with the same respect and kindness as a 22-year-old nobody," that's how he refers to himself, "as Clive did after all my success." A slew of artists have weighed in at concerts and gatherings as well over the years. And so here on The Beat, our tribute tonight ends with those notes.
To Mr. Clive Davis. I don't even have to say anymore.
Arista Records, Clive, you're the best.
Clive Davis.
He had faith in me and let me go out of the gate, just a colt, and stayed with me. Thank you, Clive.
I really didn't know him for myself until, the years started going on. And I said, wow, this man is really important. This is an important guy.